Alrighty, folks, welcome to the channel. Here today to discuss about the WWE Royal Rumble 2021 pay-per-view event. I got to admit, guys, this was a fucking outstanding pay-per-view, and usually I shit all over WWE's events. Sometimes they do really well with the pay-per-views, and sometimes they are absolutely terrible. This was really superb Royal Rumble. This was better than last year's. This was better than 2019's, 2018, and 2017. Well, 2017, I'd say, is a little bit of a rival with this, with the John Cena AJ Styles match, which was outstanding. But overall, as a whole, this pay-per-view was fucking awesome. I absolutely loved every aspect of it except for the 24/7 championship. That was the only downside about this show that was terrible. Everything else on this card was superb. I had no problems with the matches. I thought they were decent. The Royal Rumble matches on both the women's and the men's was fantastic. They all told a very good story. Bianca Belair as the women's Royal Rumble winner. She stands in the middle of the ring being interviewed and crying her eyes out, showing true emotion, genuine emotion here in that moment. And I absolutely loved it. Rhea Ripley was the last person to be eliminated from the Royal Rumble. And my goodness, I actually felt bad for her in a sense, because to be quite frank with you, I think Rhea Ripley or Bianca Belair would have benefited from the Royal Rumble win. Rhea Ripley definitely needed a lot more than Bianca Belair, based on the momentum that Bianca Belair has been getting over the last couple of months, I would say. She's actually earned it. So I am definitely okay with Bianca winning the Royal Rumble and going on to WrestleMania to either face Asuka or Sasha Banks for the women's championship, either on Raw or SmackDown. Though we probably will be seeing Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair for the women's championship on SmackDown. Now, I would like to mention this. This is actually a first time ever in the history books. First time ever that two African Americans are competing over a world championship at WrestleMania. That is historic. I don't think ever in the company's history did we have two African Americans competing over a world title, either women's or men's, which is really fucking awesome. It's definitely a huge step in the right direction. Edge won the men's Royal Rumble. He was first. The minute I saw that, I said, forget it. He's winning the Royal Rumble. He's going on to WrestleMania to face Drew McIntyre, more than likely. And he went all the way through and lasted. That is what you want. If you want a veteran, a guy who has been away for a long time and came back and perform in front of a live audience, that is who you want in a world title picture, who's a veteran from back in the day. He can put on a performance. He put on a match with Randy Orton in Backlash of 2020 for 40 plus minutes. I don't know if that was consecutively or that was just breaks in between. I'm not sure. But he did have a match with Randy Orton at WrestleMania 36 that went 30 minutes. Now, granted, it wasn't the greatest match in the world, but he went 30 fucking minutes. Who in their right mind has seen Brock Lesnar or Goldberg done that in their time back in the WWE? Never. We have not seen either one of them do that. Do 30-minute matches. So, Goldberg, forget it. Goldberg hasn't done something like that ever in his career. And Brock Lesnar, I don't think he's done anything like that since fucking Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 19 in 2003. So that is what I have to say on that situation, folks. This was... the match itself was fun as hell. It had some very interesting twists and turns. I really thought when we got down to the final four with Edge, Christian, Braun Strowman, and Seth Rollins, I thought we were going to see Seth Rollins win the Royal Rumble, actually. I really believe that's what was going to happen. But Edge prevailed and won this matchup. Regardless, Randy Orton showed up at the end after he eliminated, I believe it was Seth Rollins. And at that point, Randy Orton showed up. He hit an RKO, grabbed him, and tried to throw him outside the ring. And he didn't. Edge countered and threw him out of the ring. And Orton was eliminated regardless of the fact that he was gone throughout the entire match with a knee problem that supposedly I thought was legit. He sold it like a motherfucker. I thought it was a real injury. His knee did not look all that great, folks. I really looked at his knee. It didn't look all that good to me. It looked like it was messed up or something. And he sold it. I was really surprised. I actually bought it like a dumbass. But no, he was legitimately selling an injury that wasn't legit. So he got in there at the end and he tried to eliminate Edge and he got countered and was eliminated. I think that was a great ending. I think this really pushes the story a lot. I think it's going to benefit Drew McIntyre in this situation. This is going to be a superb match. This is going to be something Drew McIntyre needs under his belt as a world champion. This is going to bring more prestige to that championship because of the story that Edge is going to bring towards this match. This is about a man who's been out of the business for over 10 years. He had another injury that kept him out for another 6 to 9 months. And he showed up at the Royal Rumble in first and won the fucking whole thing. And only 3 people have done that now, and that's himself, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit. A huge accomplishment and very rare done by most performers. I mean, most of them don't get that opportunity. He was given that opportunity and he excelled with it. With him being at his age and lasting that long, that was impressive. It was grueling. He looked like he was banged up. He looked sore and he looked like he was hurting. And he walked through all of that and still won the Royal Rumble match. Now, getting into the regular matches. The regular matches were good. One thing I'm glad they did, they got the Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre WWE Championship match right out of the way right away. Thank God. I greatly appreciate that by them. I think by leaving that on longer would have just made things worse. And they got it over and done with pretty quickly. It was all finishers, nothing special here. Just non-stop finisher after finisher. Goldberg hit a jackhammer eventually in this match. I said Drew's kicking out of this, not tapping out. Kicking out of this, and he did. Once he did that, I knew Drew McIntyre was safe. He's going to win this match. I knew from that point forward, that was the direction they were going to go. Drew McIntyre is going to win the match. Hit another Claymore kick, pinned him 1, 2, 3. That was the end of Goldberg. Goldberg shakes his hand, finishes it up. Thank God. See you later until WrestleMania. God help us all, whoever he's going to face. I hope it's not fucking Roman Reigns, because that still could happen. Everyone keeps thinking we're clear from the whole situation. Goldberg not being in the WrestleMania pay-per-view to face Roman Reigns for his Universal Championship. That shit still could happen. Think about it. We had Goldberg win the WWE Universal Championship last year, and then out of nowhere, we just get Roman Reigns challenging for the Universal title. Who's to say we can't get the same exact thing again by Goldberg in reverse? Who's to say that? Until we get to WrestleMania, we are not cleared from the travesty that could happen with Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. I don't want to see that match. I don't think it's necessary. I think you put Goldberg up against somebody who's not really that big of a threat. It's not a big deal if he pins him. Nobody's going to give a shit. Thing like Dolph Ziggler was great for them to do. I think that if they do that again with someone else, I think that would be perfectly fine. I mean, if you want to go with The Miz, for that matter, go with it. I don't give a fuck. But I just do not want to see Goldberg versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at all. Ever. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of worrying about what Goldberg's going to be doing at WrestleMania. But there's still a chance, not a high chance, I still think that Daniel Bryan will be competing for the Universal title. And I think that what they did here tonight was the smart decision. And I'll explain why I think it was smart for them not to have Daniel Bryan win the Royal Rumble. He has had the last couple of months of the worst creative direction he's ever been on in his entire career. He's dancing backstage with fucking Chad Gable and Otis. You cannot convince me that he is worthy enough to win the Royal Rumble. Now, his promo that he did in the Go Home show was perfect. That was a great way of getting him into that direction of being a winner of the Royal Rumble in my mind. But with all the things that they did beforehand, it really made me think they weren't going to go with him at all. And he ain't even noteworthy of being the Royal Rumble winner based on that situation. If you had Kevin Owens in the Royal Rumble and he wasn't competing for the Universal title tonight, I would have gone with Kevin Owens winning the Royal Rumble more than Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan has not looked serious at all. After this will get him hyped up and get more serious and stop playing. I would get him to stop playing around backstage with fucking Otis and Chad Gable. Because by doing that, he just looks like a fucking retard. That's all there is to it. He needs to get his head in the game, make his character get serious again, and make him interested in becoming a world heavyweight champion. And that's what I would do on his part for his character and direction going into WrestleMania. And that would even make it better if he lost at WrestleMania, because it would really suck if he won the Royal Rumble, faced Roman Reigns, and then lost. I don't think anybody really would want to see something like that if they were going in the direction of Daniel Bryan winning the Royal Rumble. I mean, everyone is okay with it because it helps build Roman Reigns, but wouldn't you want that happy-go-lucky feeling at the end of the whole run towards WrestleMania where Daniel Bryan wins the Universal title after winning the WWE Royal Rumble? That's what I would have gone with anyway. So, in a sense, I'm kind of glad they didn't go with him winning the Royal Rumble at the end of all of this. When you really think about it, that's the best route that they could go on. Him running through, like, the Elimination Chamber, earning the right as the number one contender to compete for the Universal title, I think is the best way to go, because then he's in the same element as, like, Kevin Owens. So, if they decide they want to go on the direction of Roman Reigns beating Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, it won't be as, painful to see Daniel Bryan lose to Roman Reigns. I kind of think it would suck if he won and then the Royal Rumble and then lost at WrestleMania for the title. That's just how I felt, and that's why I was okay with Edge winning this Royal Rumble match. So, going back to the regular matches on this card, and then I'm going to kind of close this out because this is really self-explanatory. They did some good things here. Carmella faced, Carmella faced Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's title. That was really nothing to cry home about. It was a decent match, but these women have competed against each other, I think, about 3 times already, leading into this pay-per-view, this being the 3rd match in a row. So, I didn't expect anything special coming out of this. But yeah, Sasha Banks did retain her women's championship. We then had the Universal Championship. And that was the last singles match. It was in a last man standing match. This was the match of the fucking night, though. I mean, the Royal Rumble matches were great. The men and the women were great. And I've talked mostly about the Royal Rumble match on both women and men, but my God, man, the men, the Universal Championship match between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens could have been the fucking main event of Royal Rumble. This match was so fucking good. It was ridiculous. I absolutely loved, and I mean loved, this match. The only thing I didn't like about it was the ending. No, not because Kevin Owens lost. It was because how the match ended. It was very weird. Roman Reigns had his hands handcuffed to this pillar post type of thing structure for the stage and stuff, right? So he can keep him from getting back up. Well, the referee was standing near him counting. He grabbed him. He grabbed the referee, and the referee hit a piece of the stage, and the referee's knocked out. So Paul Heyman shows up, and he starts uncuffing him, trying to anyway. And the referee's showing up, and he starts counting, and then all of a sudden he stops counting. He stops counting, and also Roman Reigns low-blowed Kevin Owens, so that Paul Heyman could get there without Kevin stopping him and whatnot. And Paul Heyman's trying to, uncuff him, and yet he can't. He's stuck there, and the referee just stops counting out of nowhere. The referee stopped counting. The referee could have counted to 10, and he would have had him. He was down on his ass for 10 whole seconds, even with the new referee that showed up to count. And the referee just stopped counting. That was really fucked up at the end. I don't know what the hell the deal was with that, but in reality, Kevin Owens should have really won the match. I don't quite get that one. That was kind of weird. But at the end of the day, Roman Reigns gets uncuffed, and Kevin Owens gets back up before the count of 10, and he gets put in a guillotine, and Kevin Owens can't get back up. And that's it. And Roman Reigns wins the match with, Paul Heyman uncuffing him. This was a very good match. Very good match. One spot that I will say, Kevin Owens had touched on his inner Jeff Hardy. Yes, folks. He went to a forklift, raised the forklift up while Roman Reigns is on a table, climbed up on the forklift, all the way up onto the pallet, and he did a senton bomb right through the table, connecting. I thought he was going to miss. I thought Roman was going to move out of the way, and that was going to be our match. It was going to be all over for him. That did not happen. He had him beat almost 2 or 3 different times in this match and couldn't put Roman Reigns away, and Kevin Owens couldn't be put away either until that guillotine. Folks, these guys remind me of like Triple H and Mick Foley. These guys really tear the shit out of each other. Both TLC and Last Man Standing matches that they've had, they've kicked each other's asses. I've been extremely impressed with what these two men have done. But I still will say that Triple H and Mick Foley are probably better as rivals than Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, despite the fact that Roman and Kevin Owens are really good at what they do together. They have very good chemistry, and they have really good matches. Even their match in 2017 was really good, despite Braun Strowman interfering in that match. But regardless of all that, this was a fucking great match. Hands down, one of the best matches on the entire fucking card. At everything. Just to touch a little on the women's Royal Rumble, and then I'm going to close out this video. I got to admit, I was a little bit disappointed that Bayley lost. I didn't figure she was going to get eliminated in the middle of the Royal Rumble match. I figured she was going to be either the winner or getting eliminated at the end. That was not the case. Charlotte Flair, very happy she got eliminated. I was really sweating the fact that she was going to win a second Royal Rumble in a row. That would have really pissed me off. Shayna Baszler, really pissed off about what happened with her. She got eliminated by Nia Jax. I think that's a crock of shit. And that's pretty much all I really need to touch on. But the decision on the women's side, totally agree with it. I was already stating that Bianca Belair and Bayley are the two best choices to go with for the Royal Rumble for the women. And they went with the right choice, at least. So kudos to them, and kudos to WWE as a whole. They did a fantastic job for this pay-per-view. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did as well. Hit the like button if you like this video, by the way. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below, and I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Bye.